Okay, so today it's about halfway through the full second day. It's officially day 3 here at the Web Summit in Lisbon, Portugal. I'm Lacey, and Matt is here next to me. We're by a food truck here in the between one of some of the pavilions. So, yeah, today we started a bit early. We listened in first on a session about IoT and security, and I thought that one was really interesting. So I think Matt will talk about one of the other sessions that we both happened to go to as well later today. But that one was cool. And the thing that I thought was the most interesting, it's actually a topic we're talking a lot about at a client that I'm at now. But so the speaker was from a company that I don't have written down, but we'll find in a second. She'd worked previously for a lot of large tech companies on security around operating systems, so like throughout the 90s and then the early 2000s. So it was interesting to have her perspective on how security looks today in the IoT or device world. And it looks like Matt has
Thistle Technologies.
Thistle Technologies. That was her name? Window Snyder was her name. So yeah, super interesting. And I'll put a clip in here. I think I took some footage of her. But the interesting thing that she talks about is that there's a rise in devices that are used both in a consumer or home setting, but also in an enterprise setting. And a lot of times those devices don't have the same security protocols and the same opportunity to update the security in the software that operates on those devices as some of our operating systems do, and kind of the standard that we've reached in most operating systems. So they may have their own operating system. They may not be able to remotely update security. I think it's starting to rain. That's all right. We'll stay with it. And so she said what happens ultimately then is that device can become the weak point or the weak spot. The launch point, the launch pad on a network. So one example I think that makes it really easy to understand this is she talked about a printer, right? And that it could be relatively easy for a malicious actor to get access to a printer in a network in an office building. They're not going to make the green ink print in blue, but that printer, some of our most sensitive documents in an enterprise setting go through that printer. It's actually a data store, and also gives access to the entire network in an enterprise setting. To that malicious actor, it may never be double checked. It's now raining pretty hard. I think maybe we need to go inside. I'm going to pause. Okay, cool. So picking up back here outside the rain and trying to read my notes that now are bleeding. But I think that was the biggest takeaway. So she talked about, I think including security as a feature, which is something that our security team probably would promote as well, but actually making sure that teams are thinking about security in their IoT devices and understanding that it may not be that somebody wants to hijack the lights in your house, but it's a launch pad into the network for either the home environment, but probably more importantly for us into an enterprise setting. She did give 3 tips on making sure that basically how to approach this or make it better. So one of the big things she talked about, and a lot of these come from the OS world, but separation of privileges, compartmentalization, and then one thing that I thought was interesting was using higher level languages. So languages that abstract away memory management from the developer, who the developer may not be thinking about security, and so not even letting them choose how memory is managed, that is an effective way to kind of mitigate some of the issues around security in IoT.